Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, I'm going to cover game 64 of a first book of Morphy. We are in in-game rule number 9. Rooks belong behind passed pawns. We have Paul Morphy versus James Thompson. First American Chess Congress. We have the Sicilian defense on the board, so let's go over the game. Okay, so the author comments this about c5. This queenside attack is black's most defined answer to e4. In 1857, the ideas for both sides were still being formed. So knight f3, knight c6, d4, c captures d4. White is willing to give up a center pawn for a lesser wing pawn because the exchange improves White's development a bit and leaves him with 4 rows of space against 3 for black. Knight captures d4, e6. Black could have equalized the space 4 ranks to 4 with e5, but at the cost of permanent holes in his pawn position at d5 and d6. So if black would have played e5, right now he has these holes that white could take advantage of. Maybe white will put a knight there, knight c3, and then knight to d5. And then white can also play c4 to take control of d5 as well, and then put his knight there. But again, black played e6. Now we have bishop e3, bishop e7, knight c3, h6 by black. The author calls this a waste of a move. Better is knight f6 or d6, and black has a tidy formation. So again, knight f6, bishop d3, and d5, right? Instead, black wastes a move. h6 will, as we see later on in the game, will cost him a pawn. Because now we have the same. White plays bishop d3, and then now black plays d5. This is black's most desired move, making equal or better in the center, but only after he has caught up in development, which I don't think is the case here, right? Because his knight is still not on, still in the back rank. White is alert to the threats that become possible in a newly open position, even if it means moving the same piece twice in a row. So with d5, now, again, remember the diagonal here. So now there's a pin available, which is what the author is talking about. White will play bishop b5, even if it costs him another move. To move the bishop again, that's fine, because it is a threat. So white plays bishop b5, now bishop d7. And now, again, the king is in the middle. The black king is in the middle. The knight is still on g8. So white decides to open the position. E captures d5, e captures d5. And here, because black wasted a move with h6, where black could have had his knight on f6 defending this pawn, again, the knight is still on g8, so now white wins a pawn. White is now a pawn ahead. So again, that's why this move, h6, costs black a pawn. Now black plays knight f6. Now knight captures f6. A pawn ahead, white wants to exchange material and chooses to capture the knight instead of the slightly bigger bishop because knight e7, knight captures e7, queen captures e7 brings a new black piece into the game. So again, white didn't want to capture, and then black recaptures while bringing the queen into the game. So that's why the knight captures on f6. Bishop captures on f6. Now black threatens to win a piece with knight captures d4. c3 by white defending d4. Castles by black, castles by white. Queen c7. Again, preparing for rook d8. A black rook will move to d8, so the white queen ought to get out of the file. White chooses the square on which the queen coordinates with the bishop, so a4. So we have queen a4. Rook f to e8. Rook a to d1. Rook e4. The pin along the rank nails down the knight before it is captured. So bishop captures c6, bishop captures c6, and now queen c2. Bishop b5, a good idea before capturing on d4, black pauses to make a bigger threat. So now this forces white to play g3 to block this diagonal. Bishop captures d4. If black maintains the balance while a major piece or two is traded, his drawing chances improve greatly in the opposite color bishop endgame. So again, if black is able to defend, we're going to end up with opposite colored bishops, which will be which will have black give black good drawing chances. So now white recaptures. White creates a pass pawn as soon as possible, even at the cost of worsening his bishop. And a blockade on d5 will likely hold up. Okay. He also threatens d5 while the bishop is pinned. Okay, so that means d5, if the bishop moves, then white can capture the queen on c7. So that's why we have queen e7. However, black is playing on the wrong squares. Queen d7 prepares to block d5 or create checkmating threats with queen h3. So you have to realize, okay, yeah, your pawns, white's pawns are on dark colored squares. The bishop is in a dark color square. This other pawn here on d4 is in a dark color square. So that means that the light color squares are weak, right? Which gives the opportunity for the black queen to use these squares to infiltrate the position. Right? Instead, we have queen e7, d5. This helps white greatly, extending the scope of his rook and bishop while blunting black's bishop. Okay, so bishop d7, bishop c5, attacking the queen. Queen's rook c8, allowing the queens to be traded but getting an active rook. Rook captures c2, bishop a3, defending the b2 pawn. B5, threatening b4. Rook f to e1, and here black plays f5. The author comments that black missed a chance to play actively with rook c2. And the author gives this variation, which is good for black, where black is now the one making the threats. Instead of rook c2, instead of rook c to e2, again, black plays f5. Now we have f3. Rook captures e1. Rook captures on e1. Rook d2. d6. a5. Bishop c5. b4. This move enables white to make a desperado capture with his bishop. Rook e7. Rook d5. Now bishop captures b4. A captures b4. Rook captures d7. King f8. So now if we look at this position, 1, 2, 3, 4 pawns for black, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for white. And again, white is trying to push his pass pawn to queen. Okay, so here white is glad to give up his advanced pawn to get two connected pass pawns and move his rook from the front pawn. Okay, so now the plan for white is to push these pawns forward. Rook captures a2, a4, pass pawns must be pushed. Rook c2. Now in this case, if rook h1, then rook b3, rook a1, and white blocks the rook. So now here, again, just white pushes these pawns forward. And again, the idea is to queen a pawn and then trade both rooks. And then now the king will jump in here and start grabbing these pawns. And here is where black resigned. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.